What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. So we going to talk about the 147-pound division briefly, and starting it off with Keith Thurman, who is supposed to be making his comeback. The last time we saw him fight was against Manny Pacquiao in a loss, and he's supposed to be coming back for Mario Barrios. I caught something about Keith Thurman. His strength and conditioning coach pretty much said that Keith Thurman is having a hard time with completing his strength and conditioning routines, and that he's like very much overweight. And I can remember even Keith Thurman himself saying that he walks around at times he's like 190 pounds, and he's fighting at welterweight. So with Keith Thurman, anytime a fighter disappears for a while, the question is, what do they have left? And that's what, we tune in to watch the fight for, to see what do they have left. Keith Thurman against Mario Barrios, obviously, he's not going to take someone on a higher level. Mario Barrios is a good fighter. We've seen Tate Davis do what he had to do with him. He's a good fighter. A lot of people was thinking Mario Barrios was going to beat Tank Davis. So, Keith Thurman coming back to fight him, I mean, it could backfire if that hunger is not there, if that passion, that desire, if his skills are not there, because Mario Barrios is a good fighter. But Keith Thurman, to me, I don't know if it was injuries that kept him away. A lot of people were saying that he got married and his focus is not on boxing anymore. It's on his personal life and just living life. That could be it. I don't know. But bottom line is, he's been out of boxing for a long time, and the 147-pound division has gotten very stale. For one, with Keith Thurman being on the show for so long, and all this talk at one point of him fighting Errol Spence, fighting Terrence Crawford, and those fights never materialized. And now with Sean Porter retiring, boxers a lot of times they say they retired and 6 months later they're back in training and they're coming back. Who knows? But right now, I can tell you, the fight that we've been told is supposed to happen between Errol Spence and Ugas, nobody really cares about that fight. Me personally, I don't either. I want to see Spence versus, Crawford. And until we get that, it is what it is. I mean, listen, I don't take it personal. I just enjoy fighting, okay? And I can say that with no problem, because, see, I'm not a fan of fighters. I'm a fan of fighting. And it's a huge difference. So I can give my analysis on things with 110% no bias. People who are fans of fighters, it's hard for most of them to be honest and just say, you know what, I want this guy to win, but I don't know, I'm not sure. They'll just, oh, he's definitely going to beat him, and they'll shoot the guy down. And then when he pulls off the win, they have every excuse as to why the fighter that they like lost. Why the team that they like lost. I don't care about all this greatest of all time talk. You guys know that. For me, I don't even believe in that. I can look at a fighter and say I haven't seen a fighter I can say that I feel like is better than that guy, or I haven't seen a basketball player that I think is better than that guy. But I don't really care about all the titles and all that GOAT status and all that. I just look at it like, look, everybody had their time to shine, and when your time is up, is up. Like, we could sit here all day, they're debating who's really the face of boxing. Is it Canelo? Is it Lomachenko? And it's like, listen, I don't really care about all of that. And all this fanboy stuff doesn't mean anything. Reality is, looking at 147, Danny Garcia, I mean, he's a guy that lost to, he lost to Spence, he lost to Porter, he lost to Thurman. And if he fought Terrence Crawford, in my opinion, he'd lose to him too. He's supposed to be going to 154. Keith Thurman, to walk around at 190 and to even let yourself get that heavy and you're fighting at 147. It's not easy. Burning all that weight and having to trim down to 147. Sometimes your body just outgrows the division. I don't know if that's the case with Keith Thurman. I mean, nobody's calling Keith Thurman the weight bully though, right? But yeah, these guys, they outgrow a division a lot of times. The most I could see him doing is going to 154. The most. I don't see him at middle. I don't see him at super middle. I don't see him at cruiserweight or light heavyweight. So to walk around that big is like, why would you even let yourself get that big, man? So I don't know if he just wasn't training because of injuries, letting his body fully heal or whatever. I don't know. And honestly, when it comes to injuries, certain things people don't need to know because opponents will attack those situations because a lot of times a person doesn't really fully heal from what kept them out of the ring in the first place. However, I don't think Keith Thurman should walk his way back into a title shot just because he's Keith Thurman. He's another guy. Came off of a loss to Pacquiao. Okay, he's coming off of a loss. He has to come back and work his way back into the picture. Now, when you got guys like Jaron Ennis, Virgil Ortiz, Conor Ben, you add them to the mix of Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford and the Keith Thurman. You add them to the mix. That whole big four, big three, that stuff starts to get stale after a while. 135, same names, same situation, all this talking, but most of these guys don't want to fight each other. Heavyweight division has been a situation of, it's been, Fury, Wilder, Joshua for the longest. And at times like that, it comes a time where we need some fresh blood in here. We need somebody else to step in here and start to fill these voids because it gets to a point where guys, they're hungry until they get to a certain status. Oh shit, I'm a millionaire. I got a belt now. I got 2 belts now. Okay, I'm not as hungry as I used to be. I can pick and choose now. I can slow it down. I can sit here in front of a camera, throw my belt across my shoulder and just get arrogant and talk a lot of trash. I don't have to get in there. It's my call. Now, basically, what 147 is looking at right now, that excitement that was there a couple of years ago is not the same. It's one particular fight people are looking for at 147, and I just said who that is. So at the end of the day, there's that fight needs to happen. Somebody in the comment section made a comment about them thinking that Spence is afraid of Crawford because of his actions. And like I said, listen, now me personally, I don't know these guys. I know that, look, as a fighter, I'm not afraid of no fucking body. And if I was in a situation where something didn't happen and somebody going, oh, Aries scared. No, you don't know what you're talking about, man. I'll fight a fucking gorilla, bro. I don't fear no fucking body, okay? Never scared of nobody. Never scared of no goddamn thing. Okay? So I'm not even afraid of death. So at the end of the day, when someone is saying, which is why I never ran from anybody, which is, you understand what I'm saying? I want to make this about me, but I've had situations at gunpoint. Stuff happens. I'm not afraid of anybody. Anybody can open their mouth and say, oh, Aries is scared. Scared of what? So my thing is, if you say one thing, then your actions are different. I can understand people question that. Let's say he does have some fear in his heart that it's something about Crawford's style that he feel like, I don't know if I could beat him. That could be. Who knows? That could be there. I'm giving him the benefit of a doubt based on, okay, you say you're not scared. You said you want to collect all the belts first, right? Then you're going to go to Crawford. That's what you said. But like I brought up in the last video, how he looked so disappointed when Sean Porter, when he got beat by Crawford, got up, left, was shaking his head. You could see he was disappointed. But then remember, he also thought Ugas beat Sean Porter. Okay? A lot of people feel like Ugas won that fight. If not most. But at the same time, nobody cares to see Ugas in the ring. Like, you know what I'm saying? Ugas is just not that guy. if you are facing, it's supposed to be an honor for one gladiator to fight another. I don't want to see you lose, especially if I got eyes on you. So this is why it looks suspicious to people. What was Spence shaking his head for, and why he get up and leave? Like, it's obvious he wasn't happy with the outcome of that fight. That's quite obvious. So I'm not going to argue with anybody or debate that. Oh, if he's scared or not, he could be scared, man. Look, only Spence knows what's pumping through his heart. Each individual only knows that. I just know as fighters, for the most part, that fear shit is really underclass fighters. Yeah, usually their management team is more afraid of anything. Like, they see somebody as a threat more so than the fighter does. But sometimes a fighter might not see, like Errol Spence might not see Crawford the same way everybody else see him. You understand what I mean? Like, he might, but at the same time, see, there was an interview where the reporter asked, Errol Spence a question about Keith Thurman. He said he don't like Keith Thurman. He said, I don't like Keith Thurman. He said Keith Thurman's fake. He say one thing and they do something else. He's fake. I think the guy might have asked him, is any like other heavy welterweights that he do like his fighters with? And he said, I like Terrence Crawford. He a real dude. I like Bud. I like Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford, he a man of his word. That's Spence words. So if Keith Thurman is fake, and he says one thing and does something else, and you have no respect for him, is there an issue between you and Bud that is preventing you from getting in the ring and doing what you had to do? I said when Spence was out from the car accident, I said, what was the rest of the 147 pounders doing? Why this man was out? Then he comes back and beat Danny Garcia. People don't try to shit on Danny Garcia and try to make it like, oh, he came back and fought a weak opponent. No, hell no. Let's not do that. Especially when the majority of people was coming on here saying, yo, Danny Garcia gonna fuck him up. This dude had a car accident, face all bust, ain't no way in hell. He got bolts in his face, man. Danny gonna kill this dude. And he made it look easy. So let's not, make it seem like he came back and fought some powder puff guy. Okay. He came back and like he's been saying, he don't need tune-ups. He said tune-ups is for people that don't believe in their ability, right? Well, okay. Keith Thurman's gonna come back and have a tune-up. Now, I'll say this. Let's say Keith Thurman gets past Mario Barrios. There's no way in hell Keith Thurman, and he doesn't have a belt anymore anyway, but there's no way in hell that Keith Thurman should end up in that ring with Spence before Terrence Crawford. You have to work your way back in. Similar situation we're seeing right now where if Fury vacates his title, where Wilder's on standby. But technically, the belt should be awarded to Dillian White. And like I said, if White decides he wants to go fight Wilder afterwards, okay, so be it. But the right thing to do is, being that he's the interim champion, he gets the title awarded to him if Fury vacates, right? Same thing. Anthony Joshua lost to Usyk. So his fight is a rematch. Now let's say Usyk beats Anthony Joshua again. Imagine something happens. Usyk gets sick or something doing it, and something happens. He can't fight, or he vacates the title. You just pull Anthony Joshua back in without Anthony Joshua coming back, fighting somebody at least to redeem himself. To okay, got a winning streak going now, and right, you just throw him back in the title shot, title contention. So right now, the 147-pound division is stale. And people should be glad to have, like I said, the Jerron Enos's and Conor Benns and Virgil Ortiz. They should be glad to have those guys there because, like I always say, people always talk about who can beat who, but somebody has to win, somebody has to lose, right? The fights need to happen regardless. And if Keith Thurman is having issues with his strength and conditioning and he's having weight issues, anything, then there's no guarantee that he's going to even come back and fight Mario Barrios. Fight might be postponed, might be delayed, pushed back because he's not physically ready. So there's nothing going on. And it's crazy because we sat here and watched two divisions. 135, 147 to me was the two most exciting divisions in boxing at the same time. And we sat here and watched all this, like there's all these so-called big fights just start to crumble because politics and boxing, bad business, and just a lot of nonsense. So where these guys stand right now at 147, nobody wants to see Spence and Ugas. For the most part, it'll be Errol Spence fans that want to see Errol Spence in the ring to see what he looked like. And basically it's for a title. So here's what I'm saying. If he fights Ugas, okay, you beat Ugas, there's no excuse for you to not fight Terrence Crawford. Now, if that's your goal, I want to unify, but I want to get all the belts first. So that means by the time he gets to Terrence Crawford, he'll have 3 belts. I said this last year. Like, look, this guy is probably, like the way I see it, he's trying to build his profile even more. What I call it, bargaining chips. He's giving himself more bargaining chips. So when they go sit down and negotiate, you can't, like, look, and fortunately for Terrence Crawford that he did do what he did to Sean Porter, because at least now people can look and say, hold up, this is a fight that we really want to see. Because if you listen to these PBC fans, they're like, ah, man, Bud ain't nobody. Who Bud beat? Bud ain't no damn body. They shrug off everything that he's accomplished because, he's not PBC, which to me is just nonsense. And these stables, these managers, these promoters that don't want to see certain fights happen. Like, we talked about the PBC. If the PBC weren't so incompetent, you would see, Tank Davis versus Lomachenko. You would see other fighters under this banner in these fights, pause. You would definitely see more of these, cross-promotion fights. You definitely would. I mean, Fury versus Wilder was a cross-promotion fight, and look at what happened. And I'm pretty sure that got them shaking in their boots like this could happen again. We're losing leverage. Other promoters are going to look good. We're going to help them to shine. And this is why you see this crap happening. I don't care for all this stable stuff. Boxers are boxers. I get, business is businesses at the same time, and contracts have different stipulations and all of this. I get it. But it's just one of these things where, what do you think all that talk was that Leonard Ellerbe was doing? If he comes within 10 feet of me, I'll smack the shit out of him in front of everybody. I'm not going to play those games. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. What you think all that was about? Not only is he trying to just build his own profile and get more attention to him, he's trying to get people against Eddie Hearn, against any other promoter that can rival them. And pretty much, this is what I'm saying. The PBC, like, look, the people over there, they say a whole lot of shit that just don't make sense. Yourself, whenever you talk to people from the PBC, like when you hear them speaking, I mean, it's like you never feel satisfied with the answers that they give you. They always answer your questions with a question. They indirectly respond to what's being asked to them because they know the reality is they're keeping it in-house because they don't want to share the wealth. They're scared of losing. They're scared of other promotions outshining them. Their fighters beating their fighters and all this nonsense. So, I mean, it's like they've built their own little WWE. Like, no, you only fight other PBC fighters. We're not branching out. And this is why no matter how hard they try to push Tank, what heavyweights do they have? What cruiserweights? Light heavy. Right? What super middleweights? Junior middleweights? Like, what do they have outside of Tank that they can say, what other fighter do they have that they push as hard as they do Tank? They don't even push the Charlos like that. So when you sit back and you look at what is going on in boxing, those divisions that were exciting to watch just a year ago, 2 years ago, right now there's nothing going on. Just a lot of hearsay. Different guys coming back, get a good fight in here and there, and nothing is like concrete. You can't sit here and feel comfortable that we are going to get Lomachenko, versus Tank Davis. We are going to get this, Shakur Stevenson versus Haney. These are fights that need to happen. Fights that we want to see happen. And when you look at what's going on, it's clear to see. It's clear to see The fights are being blocked purposely. It's not just, oh, well, this person got COVID. Oh, this person wound up getting sick. Oh, this person, had a sick. No, these fights are, things do happen to prevent fights. I get that. But these fights are being blocked. Somebody's like, no, we're not having it. And that's why I said, look, Tank Davis, another guy, whoever Tank fights, I'm pulling for Tank. Now, to be honest with you, if he fought Devin Haney, man, it'd be, to me, it's like I like Haney as much as I like Tank as a fighter. Shakur Stevenson is another threat, but he's at 130. But these guys, when they come in, I like Tiafimo as a fighter, man. But Tiafimo, he needs to get back, get healthy, get back in the ring, beat somebody, right? Do his thing, humble himself, and get back to doing what he was doing. I don't like all these excuses and all this. If you were sick in a fight, you had things wrong with you. You don't have to keep sitting and talking about I won 10 out of 2 rounds. I think I won a fight. You have to keep saying that. If you know you wasn't 100%, something was actually okay, you know what? Let it go. You came in the ring, you brought your best, he brought his best, he won. Let it go. We'll get it back in later. But he's not even coming back to the 135 division. He's going to 140. So again, another 2 divisions that had 4 guys that was being talked about in that division. We know 135, it was Tank, Tiafimo, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney. 147, Errol Spence, Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia. And then we had, Terrence Crawford came up in there. Now, all everybody's talking about at 147 is just simply Crawford versus Spence. And why is this fight not happening? Right? 135. The most anticipated fight at 135 is Tank Davis and Lomachenko. It's not the rematch with Tiafimo. It's not anybody versus that is the match that everybody want to see. You know what I mean? And Kambosos did what he did, and pretty much that talk didn't last too long. So it goes to show you where the interest is and where it isn't. But I feel like 135 is still, 135. Right now they're still in the same situation. Because let's just be real, you still got Tank there. You got Devin Haney there, right? But now Kambosos is added to that mix. Just like at 147, you still got Bud Crawford. You still got Spence, right? Thurman's supposed to be coming back. But at the same time, you got guys like Jaron Ennis and Ortiz, and Ben on the rise. Those guys are right there. So this is what I'm saying, in that sense. But the thing is, those guys are not getting the same type of credibility as the guys before them in that division that's there right now. So it's just sad, man, when you look at boxing and look at how much talent is out there and how these fights are being blocked. This talent is being held back from going out there and doing what they need to do against, the other very top guys. For you to have, several A fighters in one division, but they end up fighting the B, the B minus, the B plus, the C plus fighters. It just doesn't help boxing. It doesn't help the division. But again, when these guys start making money, they become millionaires. It's like that passion is no longer there. They got the ability, they got the skill, but that passion is not. They don't feel the need to have to do that. And this is why for me, like I said, I'm rolling with Errol Spence again, no matter who he fights. Then but there's no logical explanation that this fight hasn't happened, other than I want to get that belt from Ugas first. So when I go to fight Terrence Crawford, I got 3 belts to his 1. I'm the A side already, but I'm definitely going to be the A side. And, he's going to try to take top dollar. We know he want the lion's share of the money. We already know how that goes. And then also understand this too. The same person made a comment about Spence going to 154. He said that. He said, I've been at 147 so long, man. He's talking about going to 154. As long as he don't exit the 154 without fighting Terrence Crawford, then we can say, okay, it took forever, but he held his word, and he did get in there, and they fought. win, lose, or draw, no matter how I go. But at the same time, if he does go to 154, are we going to get another Joseph Parker, Tyson Fury situation where he's not going to fight Jermell Charlo because they're friends? So, I mean, in boxing, it's like we have every excuse to not fight each other. Every excuse for the fighters to not fight. But then, it's like, people, but you got to understand, he did this and okay. We all know what they did. We've been watching. There's no excuse for these guys. It's like the top guys want to see the other top guys lose so they don't have to fight them. That's what I get out of it. If I know, if I'm sitting here going, nah, I want Canelo. Hell yeah, I want Canelo. And I see Canelo lose. That would have made more sense to me if Crawford would have lost, because that's the fight everybody want to see. You already fought Sean Porter, and Sean Porter's retired now. But that's I can understand. Like, damn, like Holyfield when Mike Tyson lost, he was devastated. Like, damn, come on, man. But he went in there and he beat Buster, took Buster's belt. He became that guy. So this 147 division. 135 division need to, I'm not going to dig too much more into them, but the 135 division is the same thing, man. They're losing people, and the people that they have, it's like, where's the urge to go out and fight the best guys in your division? Anyway, never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.